Hi, good morning. It's Saturday and I'm over at Evergreen Lake, as you can see in the back, maybe. There's a lot of, let me give you a quick shot, a lot of people on boats and paddle boarders and fishermen and just a lot of people out, even picnicking, um, and over in the other side over here. And I just thought I'd talk to you about our readings for Sunday. It's very familiar. I'm sure you all know it. It's the sower and the seed. And just have you imagine, especially with this setting today, people out here picnicking. I'm kind of in the shade, but it's a beautiful day. It's almost noon. It said 79 degrees at Evergreen National Bank at about noon on Saturday. And July 11th, and it's a nice breeze here by the lake. Imagine you're sitting here having a picnic, like a lot of people are, and some guy comes along and he just starts throwing seeds everywhere, and you're sitting there with your red cup with maybe water in it, but it could be beer or wine, and some seed goes into your cup, and you say, wow, hey man, just got seed in my cup. And he goes, oh, that's okay, I have plenty. And he just keeps walking and whistling and throwing seed. And there's kids over at the lake, and they run up to their parents and they say, he's throwing seed even in the lake, what's he doing? Is it going to grow? And you're kind of shaking your head going, this guy is a little bit over the top nuts. I mean, how strange is it to throw away seed everywhere, especially in the water? And then in your head you're going, oh, maybe it'll grow. So we hear this story in the gospel today, about this just strange but happy go lucky thrower of seed, the sower. And we wonder, what is this thing all about? Well, I think Jesus even makes comments, right? And then he also comments about the type of soil, but we'll get into that in a minute. But he's talking about how there's plenty, just like the sower said as he walked by and threw seed into my red cup. And I have plenty, and he's fine going on about life. So this idea of the abundance or the plentifulness, and how God just throws seed all the time. And if we look a little deeper than just a straight up, literal meaning of the story, we realize that we are sometimes not only, we're the seed, and sometimes we're the sower. And so a good analogy, according to the Reverend Dana Ashley, who I stole this story from flat out, thank you, Miss Ashley, or Reverend Ashley, is the idea that God just does things like that. He just throws seed, or I should say, God throws seed. It's not a he, she, it's God throws seed and just sees where it lands and see if it'll blossom. And we are also the seed, because we're the ones that hopefully will bear fruit. And then Jesus switches from that story into where the seed drops. And the seed drops, as he says, in sandy soil and rocky soil, and good ground, good soil, and bad soil, etc. And one thing I learned, I always thought rocky soil was terrible until I came out here. First of all, there's not many rocks in Florida, but there's plenty of sand, so I get that part. But you can put a fruit tree in sand, or you can put a mulberry tree, just stick it in sand, and 9 times out of 10 it'll grow. It just needs water and sun, and not necessarily really good ingredients. For the soil, like what we do for our gardens here. So it just has enough, and it can do it. And then of course here, Colorado, I've seen plenty of trees growing just what it seems like straight out of rock, but I guess there's just enough sand or gravel there that seed, that pine seed, usually could grow. And then it was big enough it could crack through the rocks, get its water when it needed it, and then it continue and prosper. So don't take Jesus' story about rocky ground too seriously, especially around here. And then, we can also be the sower. When we have, for instance, a birthday and someone gives us a gift, or we've lost something and we found it, like another gospel story, we're full of joy, and we really don't, ask people, how you feeling today? Let me tell you my great story. We just tell our story because we're full of joy. And that's kind of what that attitude of this sower today is, just so full of joy. He doesn't really say, oh, I'm sorry I threw some seed in your drink in your red cup. He just says, I got plenty, don't worry about it. It's because he's just full of joy. And so this idea of following Christ and following the joy, and even despite everything that's going on now, but imagine even a year ago, just the normal everyday, either ennui or boredom, or it's always going to be something, right? I mean, it's pretty heavy duty right now with the COVID-19 and all, but next year will be something else. 5 years it'll be something else. So we always just have to deal with what we're given, kind of the deck that we're given at that time. But we can still come together as a Christian community. We can still love each other. We can still reach out to each other. We can still smile at people as I go around the trail today, even with the mask on. Everybody, a lot more people are wearing masks last couple weeks, than they were after it kind of opened up and everybody thought we were safe. People are starting to wear the mask again, and even that is a sign of respect for other people. And I heard a story the other day from one of the school staff. Her boy is a teenager, and you may know him. I won't use names, but this person was telling me, the mom was telling me that her son is about 16, and he has a compromised immune system to do some issues that happened a couple years ago, and he's on medication. He's very good about putting on his mask. He washes his hands. He was very good about it since the last 2 years because he had to be, and now of course it's even more heightened. So his grandfather came over one day and said, hey, I'm not wearing any stinking mask. And he said, but Grandpa, will you wear it for me? Because I'm the one that's compromised, and maybe you are too, but I'm your grandson. The mother telling me that she almost disowned her dad, but then her dad came around and is wearing her mask at least when he's around his grandson. So with all those things, think about the other person and think about how we can respect others. And then of course people within our own community, how can we help? And there have been a number of ladies, and they're on this email list. Joyce Connery's got the list, and Kit Snyder, even though she's out west at the beach today, and I'm jealous and all that stuff. But they're all talking to each other, delivering food to certain people, etc. We're going to go to. They brought this to me. They're going to go to the Frank and Ginny Lights' house this Thursday in the afternoon, waiting on a time from Georgine, and we're going to do kind of a belated spring cleaning, and then I'll do what I do. I'm a good trash thrower outer, or I'm not a real great cleaner. Kathy could tell you that. My wife could tell you that in a heartbeat. But I'll do what I can do to help them spring clean and kind of get their lives back together, because Jenny's not doing so hot, and Frank is sitting with her a lot, etc. So if you want to join us, get in touch with Georgine or Ann Keene and join us on Thursday, because many hands make lights work, is what I said, and that is pun intended, not light work, lights work. My big joke of the week. So anyhow, with all that, let us kind of remember what we're about, that we are a Christian community of the Church of the Evergreen. here in beautiful Evergreen, that we've had beautiful days. And I know it's hot. It's been in almost to the 90s. And if you go down to Lakewood or something, or go up, even go up to some of the up the hill a little bit, it's hot out. But then I don't know about you, at nighttime I go, at least on the first floor, it's nice and cool, and really enjoying. Thank God for these beautiful days. So God be with you, and hope to see you on Sunday on Zoom. God bless you.